On behalf of the Director General of UNESCO, Mr. Koichiro Matsuura, I wish to congratulate the organizers of this important conference for having grasped the power of culture in the contemporary world, and more essential, indeed, for having grasped the power of culture to shape and transform the world. Why does culture matter? Why does it matter for peace, development, and the reduction of poverty? For a very long time, indeed, culture was viewed as a mere legacy of the past: habits, myths, rites, customs, heritage, tradition. On the opposite, development is always conceived in the terms of a future-oriented process: strategy, plans, objectives, hopes, goals, targets. From this viewpoint, the cultural players were seen as persons of and from the past, and economic players as actors of the future. With this in mind, culture was opposed to development, as tradition was opposed to change, as customs or habits were opposed to the invention of the future and rational calculation. Things are evolving now. I see a telling example of this change, of course, in the decision of the World Culture Open to award laureates for their, I quote, for their contribution to humanity through culture and their commitments to preserve, extend, share, and foster understanding of culture as a creative means for human expression and peaceful coexistence. The way we are looking at culture is no longer the same insofar as we try to create a more fruitful relationship between culture and development, between anthropology and economics, between culture and peace. It doesn't mean that we should forget about culture in its broader sense, as the sense of a historical legacy or memory or heritage, you see, or cultural expression. Culture is, of course, all of these things as well, since culture is a continuing dialogue between aspirations and sedimentary traditions. With this in mind, cultural diversity is both about preserving the past and building the future. At a time of growing awareness that the dimensions of globalizations are not only economic and technological, the search for ways to influence or invent the social and ethical dimensions of globalizations leads inevitably to questions of culture. Are we heading towards one single global standardized culture? This question of cultural identity and expression, cultural diversity and pluralism, cultural development and heritage are all playing themselves out in this World Culture Open, which seeks, I quote, to showcase, as your program says, humanity at its best through the sharing, celebration, and experience of cultural diversity. And of course, we know that there are a lot of threats. I will not recall today, because of a lack of time, all the threats that are, of course, bearing on cultural diversity. At present, shifting balances of power, exclusion, and poverty impact on the conditions for dialogue in numerous parts of the world, and otherness is too often been stigmatized. I'm convinced, and we are all convinced at UNESCO, that the World Culture Open, with its search for new bridges between peoples and for the inherent wisdom within other cultures, will help to counteract these trends.